Everyone, let's start with today's session. Yesterday, we just discussed the backgrounds of how JavaScript evolved and how the usage of JavaScript increased by many folds. Okay, and after that, we slowly came into uh, the usage of JavaScript libraries, then the requirement of JavaScript frameworks and how Angular fits into the picture. What is the requirement of like what was the problem with Angular JS and why Angular was become popular? Okay, all those things we discussed yesterday. Okay, and we created a simple application just from by using Angular CLI. We understood how we are going to set up the application. Okay, uh, and we created the small application using Angular CLI. We did not add any code into that, but yeah, simply we created the application and ran it using Angular CLI command ngserve. Okay, and we are going to understand the next steps now. Okay, we discussed about single page application yesterday, right? What is a single page application? So if you see the older uh, uh, older server side programming technologies or web frameworks, okay, what used to happen is for each of the page or each of the functionality, you used to have separate pages for that, right? Let's say for home, you will be having, if you are using .NET, ASP.NET, then it will be having a home.aspx or something, or about it would be having home about.aspx or something. Okay, but in single page application, all you have is a single frame that is loaded from the beginning to end. Okay, that is the root page of the application, and mostly it is the only HTML page which is available in the application. All other pages, as I okay, uh, all other pages, all other pages are just child applications. Okay, so if you simply put single page application into a line, like the description of single page application into a line, where your application is not going to reload throughout its usage course. Okay, means when even if you are trying to load a separate page, still the page main browser page is not going to be reloaded. For example, if you are using page, you can correlate to this thing in all the current modern day applications like Facebook or Twitter or Gmail. You are on the Facebook, you are clicking on home page or your profile page or the news feed or any group pages or those kind of links and those things. Okay, you will be able to analyze, or you will be able to see that the main page, the main browser page is not getting reloaded again and again. URL is getting changed, that is fine, but still the page is static, page is not getting changed, only the content inside that change is getting refreshed along with all the clicks you are doing. Okay, so that means your parent page, that is the index page or the root page of the application, is never going to be reloaded throughout the usage of your application, like until what time you are using the application. If you are clicking on any other link, let's say you can see this thing. Okay, I can just show it to you. You can check this thing in any of the current applications. Okay, let's say in the initial load, application is getting reloaded, but let's say currently
Are you sharing the screen?
I have not shared it until now. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, sorry. Okay.
We are not able to see the screen.
Yeah, just now I shared it.
Okay.
Able to see it now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. See, this is my Facebook page. Okay. So if just focus on this particular bit. Just focus on this particular bit. Earlier, when we were having multiple pages like the old age technologies. Okay. Every time you click on a link, this is going to be reloaded, right? That means it is going to be calling a separate page or separate URL, and this is going to be reloaded until the next page is loading. But now focus on this. Let's say currently I'm on the home page. I'm just clicking on friends or clicking on videos. Is the URL getting reloaded? No. Only this part. I mean this URL is not getting reloaded. I'm getting the URL changed. Okay. I'm clicking on groups. I'm clicking on my profile page. Anywhere I'm clicking, this URL is getting changed. That is fine. But my browser is not getting reloaded, right? Whatever I'm doing, it is not going to be reloaded. Okay. And still I'm getting the new pages, right? That means what? That means, okay, in the single page, the parent page always gets loaded in the first time. Whenever you are trying to load the application, single page application for the first time, okay, the index dot we popularly call it as index.html. There is no reason to specifically call it index.html. This is the parent HTML page. Okay, every single page application will be having a parent page, parent HTML page. We popularly say it as index.html. So whenever you are trying to load the application in the browser, the single page application in the browser, okay, you'll be just having this index.html loaded all the time. Inside that, all the other, so basically if you see here, I've clicked on the friends. Okay, this URL is getting changed to /friends, right? And some other page is getting reloaded. That means what? If my URL is /friends, some other child page is going to be loaded inside this index.html or the parent HTML page. Okay, if my URL is something else like the groups, okay, some other child page is getting reloaded inside the parent page, right? You are able to understand the concept. The parent page, the index, we popularly call it as index.html. Okay, that is loaded all the time. That is not going to change. Okay, but if you are from the traditional web background, you'll be able to see that this URL is getting changed, right? This URL is getting changed, and some other page is being loaded, right? If you think about the traditional concept of browsers and URLs, whenever there is a URL change in the browser basically sends a GET request or to the newly added or newly updated URL, right? But what is happening here is this single page application framework or the JavaScript framework is preventing the browser from its traditional behavior, that is for making a new GET request. Okay, and what it is doing, it is, instead of that, it is just loading another child page which is already stored in the memory of the browser. Okay, so what is happening here is when you are trying to request for the application, the single page application for the first time, along with the parent HTML page, the parent HTML page is going to be downloaded. Along with that, some JavaScript files are going to be downloaded. Inside those JavaScript files, okay, all this HTML content of the child pages are going to be serialized into JavaScript string and stored inside those JavaScript files, and just to be picked from that JavaScript file and placed inside this frame, inside this parent page frame. Okay, able to understand that? So whenever there is a URL change, it is not actually changing the URL for a new page. Rather, it is doing what? All these configurations are done inside my application. It will just based on the URL, let's say my /about. In that case, what it is going to do, it is just going to check the configuration for /about which HTML child HTML page is stored as a string. It will pick that particular HTML string and put it inside this parent page string. Okay, so that is what this concept is called, your routing. Okay, this is one of the most important features in any single page application. So in Angular also we are having the concept of routing, because ultimately it is going to show, it is going to behave as if we are using a simple website where there are multiple pages or links are available. The user can click and navigate between the multiple pages, but in the behind what is happening, only the parent page is loaded. Inside the parent pages we are just operating with the navigation of different child pages. Okay, that is why this URL change is never happening, because always the parent page, the index.html page is being loaded and being stored. Okay, you understood the point? Okay, now I am coming to a little bit detail of Angular. Okay, the core concept of Angular is basically my Angular application is a collection of components. Okay, this is a very important the term components, because you are going to hear this term from now onwards until the end of this course. And component is basically the heart of the Angular application. Okay, what a component is, it is basically, component is basically something which controls a patch of the screen, whether that patch can be the whole screen or a small portion of that. What I mean when I say the patch of the screen. Okay, now let's say, now let's forget about the routing part a little bit. Okay, we will come to that over a period of time. So let's say this is my index.html. When I am saying this whole parent thing, okay, I'm just writing it down here. Let me small one. Okay, index.html. You can give it any name. Okay, I'll show you that. So basically this parent is the index.html. Inside that, as I said, basically my Angular application is a collection of components. Okay, what a component is, it is basically a it is basically something which controls the patch of the screen. That patch can be the whole screen itself. Okay, that means inside my index.html there is always going to be a parent component loaded, or the root component we call it. Okay, it is always going to be loaded. From here onwards Angular take care of everything. That means inside that, this always this parent component is going to be, or the root component is going to be loaded. So basically what it is doing, it is controlling the whole screen itself inside the index.html. If I'm trying to put you in some context, okay, if you see, this is the index.html I was talking about. This is not having any other HTML details. Only there are few links and all titles and all those things available. That is fine, because these are not controlling any HTML part, like any of the HTML which is being displayed in that part, right? What it is doing, it is just displaying something else. Okay, what this is, I'm going to come into this a little bit later, but what I'm trying to suggest is basically a root component, or a component is basically loaded all the time inside your index.html page. Now what happens is, for each small section, or let's say I'm having a, here I'm displaying some information. You can call it, this particular part is also being controlled by another component. Okay, let's say here I'm displaying some weather or something. Okay, let's say for this part I'm displaying the weather. This particular part is being controlled by another component. Let's say we can call it as a weather. This part, let's say I'm displaying the, this part I'm displaying the stocks information. That means what, this particular part is being controlled by another component called let's say I can give it a name as stock ticker. Okay, You can similarly have any number of components available in your. So this is basically happening what? This is basically a parent-child relationship, right? So this is your index.html, which is in the outer ring. Inside the outer ring, there is only one there can be only one parent component inside your application. Okay, the root component. Inside the root component, all other components, which are, let's say here I'm giving this particular one. Okay, this I can display some other information which is being controlled by a component. Okay, and this particular piece of information is controlled by another component, and this particular stock ticker is being controlled by another component. So this is basically a tree structure. Okay, that means there is always going to be a parent-child relationship. Now I'm trying to put the component thing into a more logical conclusion. Okay, what a component is, it is basically a collection of three things. Okay, one is the HTML side, which is obviously because I am displaying something in this page, that means some HTML is involved in this, right? Or another thing, this is the HTML part, that means some HTML is involved to display this particular thing here. Okay, second thing is to the code which is controlling this piece of HTML. Okay, I said component is a collection of three things. Okay, one is your HTML part, that we call it as view. Okay, second part is the controlling class, that means which class, there would be a class which is written in TypeScript because we are using TypeScript here. Okay, the class which is controlling this piece of HTML or the behaviors of this piece of HTML is called the class. And the third thing is the metadata. Okay, third thing is the metadata. We in Angular term call it as decorator. Don't worry about these terms now. We will revisit them, and because we are going to write the components, multiple components. As I said, this is the most important feature of Angular. Okay, so this metadata is basically the configuration which links this HTML into this class. Because I'm just writing a HTML file, small HTML file or some piece of HTML. I'm just writing a class. It does not make sense how it is going to correlate in between that HTML and that class. So this metadata configuration is going to basically create a link between that HTML and the class that we call in Angular term as decorator. Okay. So basically your application, when I said my Angular application is basically a collection of components. Okay, what exactly I mean? This is basically a hierarchy of components, the parent-child relationship of the component. Okay, all this, even the routing thing. Okay, even the routing thing, let me get it clear. So what is going to happen is, let's say my URL is something like my URL is something called a /about. Okay, in that case also what is going to happen is the about page is going to be loaded inside my app component. Okay, my root component is always going to be there. It is not going to be affected by the routing and all those things. Okay, because this is the space basically we are creating and giving it to Angular. This index.html is there, but inside that the major work is taken care by the root component, because this is where we are basically creating a play field for the Angular to take control of things. Okay, so what is going to happen is inside the about, like inside the root component, whenever there is a URL change, like let's say in this example /about, that means I'm trying to load the about page. I've created some configuration. /about is going to be displayed as about component, which is going to be displayed about.html page. Okay, that means this about.html page is going to be loaded here. Okay, secondly, let's say my URL is something like /home or /contact. When I say this slash, that means what? The after the root URL, in this case here, facebook.com/friends/videos, right? This kind of thing. Okay, so based on this URL, what is going to happen is another component or another set of HTML and its controlling class is going to be loaded here inside the root component. Okay, able to understand what I'm trying to explain? Okay, so this is why we call Angular application is a collection of components. Okay, now I'm trying to put what we just discussed now. Okay, this particular piece of image is going to explain you what I was trying to say actually. Okay, so basically if you see, I'm not now talking about the index.html anymore. As I said, this is just the frame inside which the root component is resided, and this root component is actually, it is where Angular creates its own playfield to play with all other components. So this particular piece is going to be your root component. Okay, the root component, we in Angular terms we popularly call it as app component. You can give it any name, but we normally call it as app component. Okay, so that means what, this is the root component. Inside that, let's say this is my about or home component, it is loaded. So this home component is displaying some information here using another component, some other, let's say this stock information using this component, and the weather information using this component. Now let's say from the home page, from the home component, or the home URL, for the slash home URL, let's say this home component is being displayed. This is the root component, the app component. It is never going to be changed. This is the home component which is loaded along with some child components. Now in the next slide, okay, let's say this is another, inside that home component, let's say I'm using few other, like it can be of any hierarchy level. There is no certain limit for that. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to explain is, you can have any hierarchy of components. You can have components inside the component, inside the component. There can be any level of parent-child relationship which is feasible for you. Okay, now what I'm trying to do is, I'm just trying to break it down into this tree structure. If you see, always the root component, that is the app component, is going to be there. So let's say this is your home component. Inside the home component, you have three child components. One of the child component is having its own two child components. And now if the URL changes, okay, let's say from the my URL change from slash home to slash about, that means what, again what I'm trying to say here is, my app component is always going to be staying here, and the child components of that app component is going to be changed. Okay, if you see, the whole bunch of home component related things are going out, and another child, the contact us page related components, like this is the contact us component, and it is having two child. Okay, so it is going to be added inside the app component. Let's say my URL is changed to something else. Let's say the the media information or something. That means here also my app component is never going to be changed. That is what I was trying to explain you, right? My app component in similarly as my index.html. Index.html is the frame where my Angular application is going to run. So it is never going to be changed. It is always going to be there. But inside that index HTML also, my app component is, or the root component is always going to be stay. And inside that, it basically creates a playground for Angular to load different pages, or in Angular term we may call it components. Okay, you got the point. Let's say this was my home component. So my root component, my app is always going to stay there. My URL change, some other component is getting loaded. Now my URL change to something else, some other components, the list, the bunch of components are going to be loaded like this. Okay, got it? So this is how my Angular application works basically. It is basically a collection of components. Okay, now coming to another important feature, as I said, my Angular application is basically a collection of components. But if you remember, yesterday we spoke about something called Angular is modular by design, right? It is modular by design. That means what? I said, obviously, a module is basically a collection of relatable functionalities, right? The similarly related the related functionalities are going to always be a part of a module like HR module or admin module. Similarly, because Angular is modular by design, okay, to implement the modularity in a proper manner, okay, you have to have any component, even whichever component you are having, it is going to be a part of any module. Okay, you cannot have a component which is not part of any module. If that is the case, it is going to give you the compile time error itself. Okay, so any Angular component. Okay, one more thing, Angular is not only of components, there are actually four things. Okay, but Angular is the most, I mean the component is the most important thing. That's why I said I am just talking about components now. Apart from that, Angular is having its own directives, services and pipes. Okay, these are the four things we normally create in Angular. Okay, these are the four more main building blocks which your Angular application is consists of. But component is the most important factor. Okay, so basically whenever you are creating a uh, component or a directive or pipe or service, you need to have it registered under a Angular module. Okay, so even if your app component, the root component, although it is the root component, but still it is an Angular component, right? So any Angular component is going to have to be registered under any Angular module. That suggests you what? That suggests you are going to have at least one component in your application and at least one Angular module in your application. Okay, you understood my point? Any difficulties understanding that until now? Anyone? Whatever we have discussed until now, any difficult?
No, no problem.
Okay, that means you are always going to have at least one Angular module and one Angular component inside your application. Okay, so similarly, just like the main component, the root component, we call it as app component. Similarly, the main module, we call it as app module. Whatever name you want to give it, there is no such restriction, but we popularly call it as app module. Okay, so this root component is always going to be the part of the root module or the app module. You can have multiple modules based on your requirement. If your application is big enough to have multiple modules, there is no such restriction to create multiple modules. Okay, so the other modules in your application, you can call it as feature modules, or we sometimes create some shared modules. Okay, where we have shared functionalities, like where we are creating some functionalities which can be shared throughout the application. We call it as shared module. These things we are going to discuss over a period of time. Okay, for now I'm just trying to focus on the root module, and I'm just trying to let you know that we can have multiple modules. The root module is always our main root module, or the main module, or we call it as app module, is always going to be there. Okay, that means even if you are creating a new application, there is always going to have a root module and a root component. You can create any other components after that. Okay, but you are going to have at least one component and one Angular module in order to kickstart your application. Okay, before 2 minutes, I just explained you what a component is. It is basically a collection of your template. That means the HTML, or we can call it a view. So basically it is a collection of your template, class and metadata, right? That's what I explained you. So basically a component is a collection of your HTML, that means the template. The class, obviously a class means what? It can have properties, it can have methods and all those things, right? So basically that's what I am trying to explain here. So basically it is a collection of template, that means HTML, class, okay, and what class it is? The TypeScript class, okay. Don't worry about the TypeScript syntaxes. I will explain those syntaxes to you. No worries with that. So as I said, TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript. Whatever code you are going to write using TypeScript, it is going to be transpiled into equivalent JavaScript before being run in the browser, because my browser do not understand the this thing TypeScript and on any other language. It only understands JavaScript. Okay. And the third thing I explained as metadata. That means the metadata is the configuration information which links the HTML into the class. Okay. Now, as I said, we just discussed about this Angular module thing, right? You will have to have a root Angular module in your application. Inside that, you can have multiple components, directives, services, and pipes. Apart from that, you can have multiple feature modules as well. Those feature modules are also going to be a collection of components, services, directives, and pipes. Okay. Now, let us go back to the code now. Okay. Let me run this application. So how I'm going to run this application? I can just go to the folder. I can use I'm having some issue in this thing, but let's try it one more time. Okay, there is an integrated command prompt or integrated terminal which is available in the Visual Studio itself. You can just click on terminal and click on new terminal. Okay, so this is going to give you a inbuilt command prompt kind of thing. Okay, this is PowerShell command prompt. It is providing me now. Okay, I can just simply write down the commands here, but in my case it was having some issues, so I'm not sure if it is yeah. Okay, let me, you can do it, in your Visual Studio Code. There is some issue in my installation, that is why it is not working. Okay, but that does not mean it is not going to work with your system. Okay, so to do it in my way, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open this September 2020 app. Inside that, anywhere I can do it, just because I'm using my git bash. I prefer that as a command prompt. Just open the git bash. Okay. Okay, and just run ng serve. Okay, if you run this command, what is going to happen is it is going to compile my application and run it in the default port number 4200. If you want to run it in a different port number, that is also fine. I will explain to you how you are going to do it. Not sure, it is taking some time to compile. In this servo, I'll come to that. I'll come to that. Okay. Okay. On click of view source, I cannot see the source code of child pages. Okay. That I will show. That I will show how you will be seeing the child page source code. Okay. Not an issue. Okay. And for ngserve, you can use ngserve. That means what? Ngserve is just going to compile and host your application into the local host with the 4200 port number. You have to explicitly run the application in your browser in order to see it. Okay, but in case of -o, what it is going to do is it is going to run this compile the application. Okay, compile the application and just open the application in the default browser set in your system. Okay, when we should do practical. Okay, so that you have to do like whatever I am doing here, you have to do it in your own system. Okay, and then you have to let me know if you are facing any issues. We will have a dedicated section of now that we have just started. Okay, you can just start continuing whatever I'm doing here in the class. You can just start continuing no, start practicing those things, and we'll have a 10 or 15 minutes session where you will ask your questions and I will clear all the doubts. Okay, every day whatever you have practiced, if you are facing any issue, just let me know in the next class. Don't pile it up, otherwise it will be difficult for you to cope up with the in the next things. Okay, now coming to the first question which Manjula has asked, on click of view source, why we cannot see the source code of child pages? We can only see index.html source code. Okay, just a minute, let me do that now. This is the index.html page. That means inside that this root component is loaded. I'm just trying to click on the view page source. Okay, if you see, I'm just now going back to the source code of the index.html. Are you seeing any script references in this page apart from this upload? No, right? But when the page is loaded inside the application, you can see there are some script references available here, right? So inside the script references, there is this main.js script reference. Okay, just click on that. Okay, now if you will see, there is some bunch of JavaScript code which is written inside. Okay, in that, if you see, there is this app component. You see it? This app component dot. So what is happening is, it is basically converting all the, let me just try to, in order to show you what is happening here, let me just try to put some of our I'm just removing all other things. Okay, and just putting a div test div. Okay, once I save this, it is going to be refreshed. Just let me refresh it. Okay, now let's go back to the page source again in the main.js. Okay, so this main.js is going to be very important. I'm going to explain it to you in a detailed manner. Okay, just search for testing. What is happening here, right? Understand what is happening here? It is basically it is basically converting the whole HTML thing into JavaScript. Okay, so basically it is Angular's way to store these things. Okay, what it has done is it has converted your whole JavaScript thing, whole HTML thing into JavaScript template. Okay, and it's stored inside the main.js. Ultimately, it is the responsibility of Angular to read these things and render it as a div. Okay, our end result is just going to be as simple as that. It is just going to display the div. Okay, but it is storing all this information uh, using this converting the whole HTML into JavaScript like this. Okay, yeah, don't worry, Santosh. We have not yet come to that point. Okay, I will explain the structure of the project and all these things. See, it's learning a new technology is just like reading a novel, right? Whenever you are reading a novel, just first 10, 15 pages or 20 pages or 30 pages, it just we just try to understand the different characters available in that novel, right? So it is like to understand bits and pieces from here, from this character and that character. Similarly, we are in that stage. Don't worry about that. I'm going to cover each and everything that is required for a web developer to work in Angular. So we have just started. I'm not the example which I have just did. It is nothing to do with the flow of the course. Okay, I'm going to cover this flow one more time. Okay, because I have not explained you what this app component, how it is whenever I'm doing a change, how it is going to be displayed like this here and all that. I've not explained those things until now. Okay, I have just displayed something like index.html. This is the index. I have just in the theory I have just explained you. Index.html is always going to be loaded inside. That's my root component is always going to be loaded. Okay, and things like that I've just explained like this only. Okay, now I'm coming back to the index.html again. Okay, now if you'll see in the index.html, are you being able to see any test div or anything like that? No. What it is displaying, it is just displaying this custom HTML element name app root, right? Just going to display the custom HTML element name app root. So what this app root is, it is something see, it is up to you, Vinit. But what will happen is if you do the coding simultaneously, because see, what I am going to do is whatever code we have done, I'm going to put it in GitHub actually. Everyday class code, I'm going to put it in GitHub. Okay. So you will have, if you see my all my old classes, okay, I have put everyday class code in the GitHub. Okay, you can see the okay. So each and every day class is going to, I'm going to put it in GitHub. You will get whatever code changes I have done in that particular class. But if you are just doing it parallelly, then I don't think you will be able to concentrate on this, what I am trying to explain. Okay. So first try to, focus on what I'm trying to explain and what I'm doing. Once I'm done with the class, I'm going to put that recording in YouTube and we'll share the link with you. You can go through it, and when you are practicing, you can do it parallelly. But when I'm teaching, don't do it parallelly because you will not be able to focus on what I'm trying to say here or what I'm trying to explain here. Okay, it depends upon you what you do. Okay, now I'm coming back to this index.html again. What I'm trying to show you is this index.html is looking very simple, right? So what is happening here is it is only having this root component loaded, but nothing else apart from that, right? But when we saw the source of this particular thing, when I saw the view page source, I can see there are multiple script tags which are being displayed here after the app root. in the source code, are we being able to see any script tags reference here? No. So what is happening here is Angular framework is basically in the runtime dynamically it is pushing some script tags as reference in this index.html. Okay, and this is where Angular is starting to take care of the flow of the application, or the whole application Angular is just trying to take care of. Okay, there is some runtime.js, there is some styles.js, there is some vendor.js and all those things. Okay, apart from that, there is this main.js which we just opened, and we saw that whatever change, whatever is, even we did a simple HTML change here, right? Forget about where we did it and all those things. Okay, sorry, but we did we wrote a simple div inside a HTML file. What happened here is, because all we have is this only HTML page, right? And in this HTML page, we are having these script pages. That means all it is required to run this application is this HTML page and its related JavaScript files. Okay. So what is happening here is, inside these JavaScript files, all the code which is required to run and control the application is there. So this main.js, as we saw, that HTML change what we made is found here inside the main.js file, and the HTML is also encrypted into JavaScript concept. Okay, so that means what? Everything we require is there in the, every code we are going to write is going to be in the main.js. Okay, now I'm coming back to the application code. Okay, so I'm now going back to the folder structure of this. Okay, so this is the application which we created using what? Using Angular CLI. So I'm going to cover you with a lot of the configurations which are there. There is a lot of configuration available here inside this folder. We have not created any of this, right? It is automatically created for us, and automatically these node modules are loaded and all those things. Okay, I'm not going to put you with all the informations right now. I don't want to overload it. Just I'm trying to go through it step by step. If you see in the root folder, there is this angular.json file. We saw about the package.json file when we are installing this application. So I explained you that this node package manager is going to take help of this package.json and install all the node modules required for this application. Okay, now I'm trying to focus you on this angular.json file. So if you see this angular.json file, if you edit it, okay, this JSON file is basically the configuration which is going to control the whole application. Okay, now also it is having, inside this application is also having lot of configurations. I'm not interested to focus on each and all and everything. I'm just trying to focus on few small steps now. Just trying to focus on this particular line number 17. Okay, okay, so what is happening here is, index, what it is mentioning, that the index, that means the root page. Okay, that is going to be my index.html. As I said, we popularly call it as index.html, but whatever name you want to give, you can give it, and you have to update it in this configuration. But this configuration is going to be same, because this particular piece, this key, Angular is going to look into for the root HTML file, right? That the parent HTML file, or the single page which is there in our application. This is where we need to configure it. Okay, so you can give it any name and you have to update it here. Okay, second thing is, so in any programming language, in any programming application, or in any application, basically computer application, you need to have an entry point to the application. Okay, you need to have an entry point to the application. So in our Angular application, we have this main.ts file. This ts extension is for TypeScript. Okay, this TS extension is for TypeScript. So in any Angular application, we need to have a entry point where the application will start executing. Okay. Now we in Angular normally call it as main.ts. You can give it as any name. Main.ts means what? The main is the file name and ts is the file extension. Okay. So you can just give any name and just configure it here accordingly. Okay, now I am going to go into that particular file and start looking into the root of the application. So what it is saying, this configuration is saying what, inside the root folder of the application there needs to be have a source src or source folder. Inside that this main.ts file is going to be there. Okay, now I'm going into the source folder. Inside the source folder I'm going to have this main.ts file, that is the TypeScript file. Okay, just edit it. Okay. Okay, and I'm also trying to let you forget about these other things now. I'm just trying to make you focus on this particular bit. Okay, so here what is happening here is a function is called. Whenever we call a function, we call the function name, then in the parentheses we just pass the parameter, and here something like that is all happening. Okay, just pardon me, give me a couple of minutes break, I'll be back. Okay, just couple. Okay. So what is happening here is a function is being called and a parameter named app module is being passed as here. Okay. Now here is a little bit confusion where this app module came from. what is this app module name? Is it just a string which I'm passing, or what is this? Is this is this an object or something like that, or what kind of parameter is this? Okay. So before doing that, we will try to understand a brand new concept of modules in different type of modules in Angular. Okay. So can anyone explain me, if you are having multiple JavaScript files? Okay, forget about this Angular and all these things. I'm having a file, a JavaScript file named test1.js, and another JavaScript file named test2.js. Okay, and as I said, don't worry about this Angular thing right now. Just this is a simple HTML and JavaScript question I'm asking. Okay, let's say currently you have a uh, file named, let me put it like this. You have a HTML file named home.html. Okay, and you have a JavaScript file named test1.js and test2.js. Got it? This is your test1.js. Okay, let's say I have a function named func1 in the test1.js. Okay, and I have a function named func2.js, where inside the func2 I am trying to call func1. Func1 is the where func1 is basically a part of the test1.js. Okay, so how it is going to be possible? How I am going to make a call to the func1 inside the second test JavaScript file? Will anyone be able to answer me? Anyone?
With the shared model,
No, just simple HTML and JavaScript.
we need to just give the reference where we want.
Correct? You just need to give the reference of test1 into any HTML file. Actually, it's not specifically to any particular HTML file. You can do this example in any of the HTML file and couple of JavaScript files, right? That means what?
Yeah.
You are basically giving the reference of test1.js and test2.js. Both the file references you are giving it here to the home.html file, right? And now that you have given the reference of both the files into a single HTML file, okay? So what happened here is, now we brought both the JavaScript file code into a single scope, right? We brought the JavaScript code which is written inside both these files into a single scope. Okay. So what is happening here is, always it used to be the case that when we wanted the code reuse of JavaScript, we were always depending on a HTML file to do it, right? That means here is what I have, this function one written in JavaScript file one, that is test1.js. I want to reuse it in test2.js. So what is happening here is, I'm always depending on this home.html file or any other HTML file in order to reuse it, right? There is no way you can, there used to be no way where you can directly call this test1 from the test1.js file to the test2.js file. But in any other programming language, if you see like .NET or Java or something, or PHP, any of the other server-side programming languages, So what used to happen is you can directly import another class into a particular class, right? You can directly use the using statement or the import statement in order to import the other class details into directly a separate class, right? That used to be the case in other technologies, but not in JavaScript. We used to refer both the files into a single scope, that is the single HTML file. Then only we were being able to reuse it. But starting with the ECMAScript 2015, okay, there is this new concept is called, that is what we call it as, each JavaScript file is called what? Each JavaScript file is called as a ES module or ECMAScript module. Each of the JavaScript file is called as an ES module. Okay, that means ECMAScript module, right? So you can each, as I said, I'm reiterating the terms. Each JavaScript file is called as an ECMAScript module or ES module. Okay, so you can directly, without taking the help of the HTML file, you can directly refer or import the one ECMAScript module into another ECMAScript module using the import statement. Okay, you understand what I'm trying to say here? Earlier in ES5, until ES5, what used to be the case is this, we used to have the help of any external HTML file in order to use the code written inside one JavaScript file in another JavaScript file as taking the help of the HTML file. But starting with ECMAScript 2015, okay, what is happening is each JavaScript file is considered as an ECMAScript module, and we can directly import the exported members of another ECMAScript module into any ECMAScript module. Got what I'm trying to say? If in ECMAScript module 1, this is this test1.js, if there is a export keyword I have mentioned with the function, I have to, there is no space here, I'm just writing it here. If I am just writing export func1, that means what? I'm exporting this function. Okay, exporting this function, that means someone else will be able to import it. So in the test2, I can directly import func1. I'm not talking about the exact syntaxes now, we will see that in a moment. Func1 from test1.js. Okay, once I do it, then I will be able to directly call this particular bit. Okay, I'll be directly able to call. I don't need to depend on the home.html file anymore. Able to understand what I'm trying to say here? Any questions to still so far?
So here we want like function one, in the sense we're not depending on test1.js, right? Here.
Sorry, can you repeat your question again?
So suppose, okay, you are importing the function one from test1.js.
Yes.
Then there is no reference between test1.js and home, right?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. That's why I colored it in a different color. Okay, there is direct communication between test1 and test2 because both are ECMAScript modules. So each JavaScript file is called as a ECMAScript module. Okay. So you can directly communicate between any ECMAScript modules, provided you can import the exported members of other ECMAScript module. Okay, understood it? If you are exporting something from another ECMAScript module, you'll be able to import it in your current ECMAScript module. Okay, same with vice versa. If you want, if something is exported from here, you can import it from in the other, right? So exported members can be imported. That's the bottom line of this. Okay, so this feature is also implemented in TypeScript. The same feature, same concept which I have just explained now, it is exactly implemented in TypeScript. Okay. So what is happening here is each TypeScript file is called as what? Each TypeScript file is called as a TypeScript module. Okay. Each TypeScript file is called as a TypeScript module. So your so let's say you have this test1.ts, that is your first TypeScript module. Second is test2.ts, right? So this is one TypeScript module and this is second TypeScript module. Okay. So if you have mentioned any exported members here, export func1, here you will be able to directly import I'm not writing the actual syntax, so don't worry about the syntax part. We'll see that syntax in a different proper way in a moment. Okay. From test1.ts. Okay. Now that you have imported it, you will be able to use it. Just write down. Let's say func2. Okay. And I can directly call func1 here inside the func2. Okay. Now I don't need the JavaScript, the HTML file in order to communicate between these two guys. Okay. Able to understand?
Okay.
But in case, so we just discussed the same. Now that we are moving ahead from AngularJS, I don't want to talk about the AngularJS module. I think I just explained a little bit about the AngularJS modules in the last class. So these are AngularJS modules are also collection of the collection of the controllers and this thing, like the different type of functionality. We try to group it as a module. Same was the case in AngularJS also, but it was not modular by design. That means by default, all the modules were getting loaded into the browser. That created a major problem for the performance. That is why Google started to dump AngularJS and start to move ahead for Angular. Okay, rewrite the Angular into the Angular 2 and the other incremented versions. Okay, now we just discussed about ES 2015 modules and TypeScript modules. Both are basically same in nature. Okay, now I'm talking about Angular modules, as I just explained a little bit before few minutes. Okay, so this is the example of how we are basically importing this thing. I will show you in the code, no worries with that. Okay, so I'm going to have, as I said before some time, we are going to have at least one module in our application. Okay, I'm just coming back to the main.ts file now. Okay, now if you see, we just saw this particular syntax. As the syntax, what it is saying, it is calling a function named bootstrap module. Okay, bootstrap module. That means what? Bootstrap is basically, it's not the CSS thing only. Bootstrap is a process which is basically to start any programming or any process. Basically, if you are starting something, that means you are bootstrapping it. Okay, so the beginning point that you can say. Okay, so here this function name is suggesting what? The bootstrap module. That means the initial module. That means the starting module of your application. As I said before, sometime I explained to you that so our Angular application is basically a collection of components, but any component, it is always going to be a part of the module. No component is excused to not have a module. Okay, able to understand that? all the components need to be registered under any Angular module. That means even if it is your root component or the app component, it is also going to be registered as a in the module, in any module. That means we are going to have, definitely going to have at least one module present in our application. As I said, we are definitely going to have this root component available in our application in order to kickstart, right? We are going to have at least one component where Angular is going to take care of rest of the things. So that that component is going to be a part of the module that we call it as root module or app module. So that means any Angular application, you may have more than one Angular modules, but you have to have at least one Angular module and a root component in order to kickstart your application. So what is the root Angular module? So currently we have only one Angular module, that is fine, but in future we are going to have multiple Angular modules, right? So my Angular application should know which is my root module or which is my bootstrap module. So that is why we need to mention it as which is the root module or which is the bootstrap module of my application. Here, that is what we are mentioning here. So what is this app module? If you see, there is an import statement, okay, written over here. Okay, don't worry about the other things. We will discuss those in a moment, in some time. Okay, these are not related to, for the beginning of the course. These are not related to. That's why I'm not covering it now. We'll discuss it later. Okay. So what is happening here is there is this import statement, right? I showed to you what this import statement means. That means what? I'm just directly importing a exported member from this particular path. Okay. That means currently this main.ts file is a part of the source folder, right? Currently a part of the source folder. So inside so that means what? Inside this source folder, there is going to be a B and sorry, app folder. Inside the app folder, there is going to be a file named app.module. So let's go into the app folder, because my main.ts file is inside my source folder. So inside the source folder, I'm having this app folder. Inside the app folder, I'm having this app.module.ts. So this app.module.ts, okay, is having this simple class named export class app module, right? This is a very simple TypeScript class. Here also we saw how we write a class in TypeScript. The first thing which we just understood about TypeScript, this is a very simple way. Just the class keyword, then the class name, and then the class body. This is very simple. Okay. Apart from that, we have this export keyword that is marking this class as exported. That means if this class is exported, someone will be able to import it. That is why we are being able to import it. Okay, now you will ask me that file name extension is .ts, and here the file is not having any extension. So what happens here is, see, ultimately my TypeScript is going to be converted into JavaScript. So this extension is going to be .js, right? That's why we do not need to explicitly mention the file extension in any of the TypeScript imports. Okay, you just need to mention the file name. That's it. You don't need to mention the file extension. Okay. So now what is happening is, so basically this is a simple class. Okay. So because it's a simple class, what it is going to do, it is not having any code written inside this class body, right? So what does this mean? Even if I'm just mentioning it as a name of module, how it is going to act as a module, where I'm going to mention all this information related, which component is a part of the module and all those things. So if you see, I just explained you before some time, my component is basically a collection of what? My component is basically a collection of my uh, template, that means HTML, class, and metadata, right? This metadata piece, that means what? This metadata piece is basically combining my HTML and class into, and this whole collection is called as a component, not just the class, not just the template, not just the metadata. Similarly, this simple class is not my only, this is not the only thing which is my module. So this is a very simple class which is not having any code written inside it. So how my Angular is going to understand this is my module? Because of this metadata. This particular thing is called the metadata. In Angular terms, we call it as a decorator function. So basically what is happening here is this decorator function is named as what? Ng module, right? So first of all, we imported that ng module function from the Angular /core. From this path, we basically imported this ng module function. So if you see, this is a very simple Angular function, okay? And if you are from Java background, we have this thing called annotation. If you are from .NET background, we have this thing called attributes. That means what? These annotations or attributes, or in case of Angular, we call it as decorators. These are basically additional information or metadata about the class. So if you forget about all the lengthy syntaxes which were available there in earlier, I just removed those. If you see, this is a simple class, okay? And this is this decorator function or annotation function. Just like Java, we have annotation function. Similarly, here we call it as decorator. So this is basically a metadata information for that particular class. That means additional information about that class. So if you see this harmless class as app module, it is not going to do anything on its own, right? Because we are passing this metadata, that means the configuration of that particular class, it is becoming an Angular module, okay? Because this we applied this ng module decorator function along with the class. This class app module is now being considered as a Angular module, okay? So now what is happening here is, to this JavaScript function, to this function ng module, we are basically passing a JavaScript object, okay? In that all the configurations are mentioned, okay? There is this, there are multiple sections. One is your declaration, one is your imports, one is providers, and all those things. One next is bootstrap. I'll come to it in a moment, okay? Currently we have 4 sections. I'm just trying to explain you these 4 sections, what these are, okay? There is this first section called declarations, okay? There is this first section called declarations. As I said, as I mentioned before some time, okay, we can create 4 things in Angular, okay? These are what? 4 core concepts in Angular. These are what? Your component, directive, services, and pipes, okay? These are the 4 things we create in Angular. Component being the most important character in this Angular ecosystem. We mainly, like, we always discuss about component, but pipes, decorator, pipes, services, and directives, those are also very important in Angular. We will cover those in future topics, okay? So as I said, there are 4 things we create in Angular: component, directive, service, and pipe. In these 4, just leave the service part now. All other 3, what is your component, directive, and pipe? Whatever component, directive, and pipe you are creating, you are going to put it inside that. You are going to put the reference of that inside this declaration. As I said, any Angular component needs to be registered under any Angular module. Similarly, any directive, service, or pipe you are creating, it needs to be registered in any Angular module. Service, the case is little bit different. That's why we will discuss it in later. But other rest 3 things: component, pipe, and directive. Any component, pipe, and directive you are declaring, you have to register it under any Angular module, okay? So no matter it is whether it is the root component, the app component, even if you are creating any other component or directive or pipe, you have to add it under the declaration section in any module. Not just the root module you have to add. You can declare it under any module. Since we have only one module available in our application right now, so any component, directive, or pipe I need to register, I need to register it in the declaration section of any module. Okay, got my point? Any confusion so far?
Can you repeat that part, last part?
Okay, as I said, we create 4 things in Angular, right? We create components, which is the hero of our Angular ecosystem. Apart from that, we create directive, we create pipes, and we create service. The scenario of service is little bit different. Okay, I will come to that in a moment, but the rest 3 things, one is your component, directive, and pipe. These 3 things, these 3 guys need to be registered under any Angular module. And when registering means what? You have to declare it in the declaration section. Okay, currently we have created nothing. We have this is the only component we have in our application. As I said, to kickstart your application, you need to have at least one Angular module and one Angular component, right? So that is what we have, all we have now. This is the root component, the app component. So it is declared under the declaration. Over a period of time, when we are going to create other Angular components and pipes and directives, we are going to add those in the declaration section of this module or any other module in that case. Okay, currently we have only one Angular module, that's why we are going to declare all these things in the root module. But over a period of time, when we are going to have other feature modules as well, then we can add the components into those modules as well. Okay, I hope I am clear until this point.
Okay, so components, directives, and pipes, right?
Yeah, that will be added in the declaration section.
Declarations. Okay.
Okay, now the rest thing, which is services. So services, we normally add it in the providers section. Okay, component, directives, pipes, we add it under the declaration section. Services, we add it under the provider section. It is not as simple as that. I will explain to that in a detailed manner. For now, you can just think it as we can add services under the provider section. But why we add it in the provider section and how we can do it and all those things, I will explain in a future class. Okay, this is not for the beginning. Okay, so now I'm coming to the third point, that is the import section. Okay, as we discussed, an Angular module is basically a collection of what? Component, directives, services, and pipes, right? So as I said, we can use any other Angular module, okay, in our current module. That means you are basically creating an application boundary by using the Angular module, right? You can, under any Angular module, you can have directive, services, pipes, and components written inside that. So just to reuse those things, you have to, I cannot, let's say I'm having a component, directive, or service, or pipe. I cannot directly import that into any other file without my application knowing that. This is one thing, importing that file. Okay, main.ts file, inside the main.ts file, what I did, I imported that file by using the TypeScript import. That is fine, but I cannot directly import a component into my component, or I cannot directly import a pipe into my component or any other thing without my application knowing that. So for that, any component is a part of any module. So I need to first import that module into my module. Then only I'll be able to directly import the TypeScript. I will be able to do the TypeScript import into my TypeScript file. Okay. So to use the components, directives, pipes, services of any other Angular module, first you need to import that Angular module into your current Angular module. So this particular this imports is for the module import. This import is for the TypeScript import. Understood the point? Okay. For now, we may not encounter this like a lot for now, because we are not going to use it in this couple of classes. Maybe after that we will be using this. So I will explain this particular bit in a detailed manner after some time. Okay. Now we discussed about these 3 points. Overall, what is this? This particular whole thing is what the configuration which is required for my module. That means this this configuration is enhancing this simple TypeScript class into an Angular module. Okay. Now what? This is this last point available, that is the bootstrap. That means what? Okay. This bootstrap, this particular section, this particular property is added only in the root Angular module, not in the child or the feature modules. Okay, as I said, my Angular application needs to have at least one module and root Angular module, right? So in the root Angular module, because my module is directly not going to display anything in the web page, right? It is the displaying anything in my web page is the work of the component, right? So there needs to be the root component of my application. Which is the root component of my application? How my Angular application is going to, Angular is going to know that? Because what? Now I'm mentioning it here. So the flow is what? Here in the angular.json. Okay, let me open that. This is the configuration angular.json which my Angular is going to parse for, is going to look into, and it is going to look into the configuration. Okay, this is my root index file, or this is my root HTML file. Inside that, which is my root, the entry point of my application, that is my main.ts file, right? This is the entry point of my application. So this main.ts it is going to look into. Inside the main.ts, what I have mentioned, this is the root Angular module of my application. So if you see in so we have just referenced the app module here. Before that, we have imported it. Same in the case of each time you are going to use any reference of the class or function, you just need to first import it, then you are going to be able to use it. Okay. Now I'm going to the app module. Here what is happening is, it is just a simple TypeScript class. Okay, it is just a simple TypeScript class that is exported. That is why we are being able to import it inside the main.ts, right? Inside this app.module. This is a simple TypeScript class written. Apart from that, we have this configuration called decorator function or metadata information. Inside that metadata information, we have this declaration section where we are going to declare all the components, directives, services, and component, directives, and pipes. We have this import section. We are going to add the reference of all the other Angular modules which we are going to use. Third is the provider section where we are going to add the reference of the services we are going to declare in this module. And fourth thing, which is applicable only to the root application module or root Angular module of the application, the bootstrap section. Okay, that means what? You have to mention at least one component in the bootstrap as the bootstrap component of our application, which is going to be the entry point of our application as far as the HTML is concerned. Okay, because ultimately my component is going to display something, right? So this is the root. Yeah, asking anything? Okay, so this is the root component of my application, because my module is not going to display anything anywhere, right?
Component.
Yeah, tell me.
What is the difference between component and module?
As I said, Angular module is a collection of your components, directives, services, and pipes. Okay. You need to have any component you are creating, no matter it is the root component or any other component or directive or service or pipe. Okay. You have to register it under a Angular module. So module is basically a collection of your functionalities. Functionality means what? Each functionality is going to have its own component or directive or pipe. So the collection of all these things is called your Angular module. Each particular component, each particular functionality is you can think it as your component and okay. So you cannot exactly differentiate between module and component. Those are completely two different things. Okay.
So can the application can have multiple modules as well?
Yeah, that's what I explained. That's what I just discussed. We can have multiple modules, right? This is where I explained. you will have to have at least one module in your application, but you can have multiple feature modules or shared modules. Okay.
And again, on each module, in each module, multiple components, pipes, directives.
Exactly. But this bootstrap thing is only going to be there in the root Angular module, not in all modules.
Okay.
Right? Because you are going to obviously have only one root component in your application. You cannot have multiple root components, right? That is why.
So one entry point. That's it.
Correct. This bootstrap configuration is going to be there in. Okay.
Okay.
So now, as I said, coming back to this main.ts, here I am mentioning that this is the root, this is the bootstrap module, or this is the root module of my application. Okay, and here is what I am mentioning, that this is the bootstrap component, that means the root component, because ultimately the HTML is going to be rendered or by controlled by my component only. My module do not have anything to do with the HTML and all those things, right? It is just a collection of these things. That means grouping, or that means the application boundary of my components, directives, services, and pipes. It has nothing to do directly with the HTML part. Okay, so who is going to directly work with the HTML? The components. Okay, so here what I have mentioned is this is my root component. Okay, so again, if you see, here is what this import statement is saying. What it is importing something from ./app.component. That means there is a file named app.component.ts in the same folder as the app.module.ts. So you have to maintain the folder structure however you require it. Okay. So if you see now, again, this TypeScript class named export component, export class component, right? Talk about this bit now. So apart from that, this is a very simple TypeScript class, nothing fancy in that. It's just a class declared app component, and it's having an export keyword. Okay, in that export keyword, we have this decorator function named component. Just like in the module, we had this decorator function named ng module. We are similarly having this decorator function named component. Okay. So now, if you see, this decorator function is also, if you see, this is also imported, this decorator function is also imported from some other place, right? Before using it, we have just imported it, and this decorator function is passed with a JavaScript object. Okay, this is passed with a JavaScript object. In that, there are different configurations. One is your selector, one is your template URL. I will come into these guys in a moment. That means what you can just, if you simply want to think it, that because of this configuration, right? This is a configuration section. In this configuration, we are basically linking a HTML file into my component, right? And this selector means what? This is the custom HTML element name. Now I am going back to the index.html file. You saw this custom HTML name, app root, right? Where this custom HTML name came from? This is coming from this particular bit. Okay, here it is mentioned as app root. So as I said, you can give it as any name. You can give it a name as app main if you want, any name. It's not like app main or something like that. Okay, accordingly you have to change it here, right? Accordingly you have to change it here. If you are changing it there, then you have to change it here, because I have updated my custom HTML element of this component as app main. So I have to update it accordingly here in the other pages. Okay. Able to see? Now if I go back to the, able to see, I'm getting this updated custom HTML element name, right? How I did it? I did it in the custom in my app component. The selector name I have updated. That means I have for this component I'm basically mentioning it as the custom HTML element of this component name is app main. Okay, and here I'm linking the HTML file into this component class. As I said, now this file name is what? App.component. Here inside that I have put that div for app test div, and that is what is being displayed here. Now you are being able to understand the link between it. Okay, so how it is working? My component is having is being linked with this app.component.html file, and whatever I'm going to write, whatever HTML I'm going to write inside that app.component.html file is going to be displayed whenever there is this custom HTML element. It's called app main, right? So here inside my index.html, this custom HTML element is being called as app main. That is why the content of this particular app.component.html is being displayed there. So you can have, you can write even like a multiple this thing, right? Multiple, I mean the bunch of HTML you can write. So basically whatever you are writing there is going to be displayed here, right? Now you are being able to understand what I'm trying to say. Any questions, any doubts until this point? I'm assuming no. Okay. I think we have to continue from tomorrow on this topic. I think that is it. Okay.
Can I ask one question?
Yes, tell me.
Let's consider there is one more module.
Yeah.
So how they will communicate between each other?
Correct. As you said, we are going to cover that topic in a detailed manner. I'm just saying there is this import section, right? So in the other module also you are going to have component directives, pipes, and those things, right? Ultimately,
Yes.
that is what it is going to be there in the other module. If you want to use the component of another module in your current module, first you have to import that module into your current module. You cannot just directly write the import statement of another module in your component file and use it. First you have to import the module which that component is coming under. After you import that module into the current module, then only you will be able to use that directly in the import statement. Got it?
Not clearly, but
Okay. So any component or directive is going to be a part of the module. That's what you understood, right?
yes, yes.
That means what? Suppose you are trying to use, suppose currently I have one module, okay, this app module. I'm trying to use the component which is declared under another module, right?
Mm.
So to use that component which is declared under the another module, I first need to import that module into my current module. I have to first give the reference of that module into my app. I have to first let my current module. So I ultimately I'm going to use the component in another component or something like that, right?
Yes.
So first I cannot directly communicate between components of another module and current module. First I need to come through that thing needs to be go through the module related. That means my current component is a part of a module. My module is going to know about that I'm going to use the component of another module. So that is what this import statement means. I need to first import the other module on which the other component is available. Once I import that, then only I'll be able to use that component directly inside my component by using the import statement in the component. This import statement is for the module related imports, and after I'm done with the for this module related import, I'll be able to directly import the component of in the another component. Okay. don't confuse about this thing. This is just a function name component. This is not the component actually. This is the function name component decorator. Okay, this is not what exactly a component is. So as I said, the whole thing, this class, this metadata, and this HTML, these, the collection of these three are called the component. Okay, here the function is decorator function, the configuration function name, the name is component. Don't confuse with that. I hope you are clear about what you are asking.
Sorry.
Yeah, and now you are clear about what
Yeah,
you
yes. First, we need to import. Then we can use the
import the module,
module. Yes.
right? Import the module under which that component is coming on. First, you have to import that module. Once you import that module, then you will be able to directly use the import statements in the component. Okay, component or directive or pipe or any other. Okay, so now I'm going to create a GitHub repository and put this code under that. Okay. I'm going to share this link with you. Okay.
And one more thing, I don't have a GitHub account because of my company's policy. I have to uh, give the declaration. So can we get the code of over mail?
So you do not need to see if you are committing from your company network to any GitHub account, then that is a problem, right?
Yeah.
But if you are just
No, actually I
downloading it,
don't have the actually I don't have the account, GitHub account.
no, you do not need to have the GitHub account in order to use it. Okay.
Okay, I just give this link to the browser and I can download it.
Correct.
Oh.
So you can just directly download it. You need to have a GitHub account if you are trying to commit changes and all those things.
Oh.
Ranjan, can we do this, GitHub push pull from VS Code editor?
Yeah, actually my Visual Studio is having some issue. That's why I'm not being able to do it.
Okay. So do we need to download any like add-ons for this, like working with the Git?
No. See, if you want to create a separate branch and all those things, then you need to install Git. If you're just simply trying to practice, just download Visual Studio Code, install npm. I will share this steps with you. Okay.
Okay. Because I never used this GitHub. That's what.
No worries. You don't need to have GitHub actually. GitHub is optional.
No, it's just for our reference. Whatever I do practice, so I need to just maintain in somewhere.
Okay, I think we are good. I'm going to share this link with you in a moment. Okay. So every time we will make any every day after every day class, what I'm going to do is I'm going to commit the changes, okay, so that it will be easier for you to understand what all we discussed in that particular class. Okay, if you see what happened here is in that particular class we discussed about this is for the previous class, okay. We discussed about data binding. So what are the changes I made for that data binding class? So you'll be able to see the reference of that. So and also you can just directly download that code into your local, let's say opening up your September, just code, okay, download, you can just download the zip, that's it, okay. I think we're good for today. Let's meet tomorrow at the same time, okay. The same link you can use it.
Oh.
Okay then, yeah, bye.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks everyone.